Good evening, our Predicted Trades family. Hope everybody's doing well. Thank you for tuning in to our little webinar here. The whole purpose of this webinar is to give everybody a welcome and a little orientation on how to get up to speed on our Discord server and our system. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me also pull up our website and our server. All right. So, on our website, you can find a link to join our Discord right here. If you click this button, it will allow you to join our Discord server for free, so you can start to get used to our system, start to get everything up to speed. So once you join our Discord server, excuse me, you'll drop right in here. When you first join, you won't see these other sections like live trading and beast alerts, but you'll be able to see the main section, education, and welcome. Every Thursday in our server, in the main chat, we migrate all of our paid members into the main chat and have a free day so you can come in and test out our tools for free on your options charts before you join. But when you join into that main chat, feel free to ask us any questions to get up to speed and used to the system. And then when you're interested in subscribing, we have a channel in the welcome section for subscribe upgrade. And if you kind of scroll to the top, you can see our different packages, the live room, the silver, which is a good spot for everybody to start with, gold, diamond. You'll basically, where the message starts, see silver subscription. Here's the link to purchase that. And then it goes down to the next one, gold. There's a link to purchase that. So when you click on this little link, come on. There we go. It's pulling up a bunch of them. So I'm not going to log in here, but it'll take you to our PayPal to allow you to purchase that silver subscription. If there's a notes section when you are checking out, it might be good to drop your Discord name. Just because when people purchase a subscription, I don't really know what their Discord name is. So even if you miss that step of adding that note, once you make your purchase and subscribe, you can just come into the main chat and say, hey, Professor, will you give me access? I just purchased. That allows me to see which order just came through and the name associated with it. So once you sign up, you'll get access to the rest of our server, the live trading section with the different channels and voice chats there. This beast alerts, which we'll go over later. And in that live trading section, there will be the beast tool with diamond, gold, or silver based on whichever one you purchased. You'll have access, if you got the silver subscription, to the silver room where I post the beast tool daily. You'll come in, you'll copy that link. So just a right click on it to pull up this menu and copy the link. Don't copy the message link, because that copies a link for this message. You want to come down to the bottom and hit copy link and not open link. So once you've copied your link, you can come over to your Thinkorswim platform. What I have up here is our beast system on a few charts, on SPY, and a couple of the options from Friday. Yes, our system works on your options charts to show you where key levels on that option chart are going to be for the day, and also which levels can be buy levels and sell levels. So, for instance, here on Friday, it was pretty choppy, but they gave us some great legs in the morning with a dump, then a pop back, then another dump, and then this slow climb back. If we look at our calls on Friday, they opened up way above our buy zones, so we would be waiting on those. If we look at our puts, they opened close to our buy zones, and they held their open level. We hit those puts first from their open level of like 60 cents up to $1.20 for a double. We lock up profit there, and if you look to the left, that's right where the 412 call hit our beast level, this blue line at 46 cents. We played those 46 cents up to $1, a double on the calls. We lock up profit there, and at the same time, the puts are hitting our beast level, this cyan, light blue line at around 40 cents. We get back in those puts at 40 cents. They go up to $1.20. That's a triple. We lock up most of our profit. We leave runners just in case with stops right below. And our calls, when we were locking up our puts over here, our calls have dipped back to our buy zone. So we take little shots on those, going, 30 cents up to 50 cents, 30 cents up to 60 cents, little doubles in here. At one point, it went 34 cents, almost back to $1, almost a triple before coming back. So we use these levels every day to play our options that we're trading. If you're an options trader, it's kind of always been an issue for me that there's nothing to really go off of as far as options pricing. When should I enter? When should I exit? And you're always trying to line it up with something on SPY. Well, now you have a system and a tool that can help line up when SPY is dipping down here. Are the calls near a buy level? Yes, they are. Take a shot. Basically, it helps connect the dots from options to equity. So overall, that's just a brief kind of run through of our system. But if you remember, when you join and you have silver, you copy that link, you come over to your Thinkorswim, you come to setup, open shared item, paste in the link. It won't let you right click here and hit paste, you just have to hit Control V to paste in that link. You hit the preview and it'll say PT Beast Silver the first time that you load it. You just go ahead and hit import and it will import the tool. Now every other time that you load it, because I do post this tool daily with the freshest levels calculated from our proprietary algorithms. So when you import this on the second day and every day after, Thinkorswim's going to try to load an _1 after the name of the study. And to make it simple, all you have to do is just delete that underscore and the 1 so that the name is the same. If you hit import, it will say, is it okay to overwrite this? Hit OK. And if you do that, I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel because I've already got it imported. But if you hit OK on this overwrite, what's going to happen is wherever you have that Beast tool loaded, it's going to just automatically refresh to whatever the current day's levels are going to be. So it's actually a very quick, 10-second process. Every morning, our folks come in, they copy this, they go to setup, they import, Control V, preview, delete the _1, hit import, and that overwrite, and you're good to go. Your charts will refresh and you'll be ready to go for the day. So that's just a brief overview of how you join our service with the links in the Discord. Links in the Discord to join our service. When you join, go ahead and drop me a note in the main chat saying, hey, I just signed up. Oh, okay, thanks. I see BevTex. There's not, when you're checking out on PayPal, there's no like notes section to drop your Discord name. So that's good to know. I'll see if that's something we can add and check out. But just like Bev did, she dropped in and said, "Hey, I just joined. So can you set me up?" Just for fun, we'll go ahead and do this live. All right. So Bev just signed up. We're going to go ahead and give her silver access. Live trading. And we'll come on into the silver room and add her to the thread. Very good. So now she'll be able to have access to our live trading room and to the Beast system. There we go. So that gets you into the server. That shows you where to download your tool every day. If you hit the gold subscription, you'll come to gold, that kind of thing. Excuse me. And then we went through how to import it onto your charts every day. Now, the question is, when most folks pull up a chart, I'm going to go ahead and take all these off. When most folks pull up a chart, or right after you import the study, nothing is going to happen. So once you import that study, a lot of folks expect that a chart should pop up with the study. That doesn't happen by default, but you have imported the tool. So all you need to do is come to a chart. I'll go ahead and expand this a little. So here's a chart with no study loaded. All you have to do is go to Studies and Edit Studies. You can also get there by hitting Control and E. E for everyone. But once this window pops up for you to edit studies, all you have to do is come over here and search for Beast. Now I've got a bunch of them, but ultimately you can see Beast Silver's right there. So you'll find your Beast tool over here on the left. You just search for Beast, and if you double click, sometimes it just takes a second, it will pop up over on the right. You have now added that study to your chart. If you hit OK, it'll take a second to load, and there you go. Here's all of our key levels. SPY, opened, dropped to our buy zone, our open range buy zone. Popped back up to open and rejected. That's very bearish. So when we go back down and give out our support that we just bounced at, it's all signs to go down to the next key level, this midline. We overshoot it a little bit and quickly reverse back up to the same open level. That's where shorts are sitting and waiting because this was a quick move. So they reject and head right back down, right near that previous low, and tag our destination buy zone. If you load up your SPY chart and just look at the current day, there are labels over here just to help everybody as they get used to the system. So you have your open range buy zone, this little shaded portion below the open level, which is the white line. And then your open range buy zone, open range sell zone, and then a midline down, midline up, a destination buy zone, and a destination sell zone. It's really interesting if you look, especially like on Thursday. We'll just look at a couple of days here. Open, took off through our open range sell zone, ran into this white line, which is actually the previous day's open on SPY. So where yesterday's, home base, middle ground of this plot was, that is carried over into today, just so we know, because we can get some interesting things like a reversal when we get right to it quickly. So we pop up, hit yesterday's open, pull back to our destination sell zone where we should see sellers step in to take us below open if we're going to have a down day. But buyers stepped in the sell zone, don't even need to go tap open. We take off through that previous day's open and get up to our midline. We mess around there, start to reject the midline, back to that open range sell zone, back and forth between midline sell zone, and then up to our destination sell zone. But we arrive there kind of midday, which doesn't leave much left for the upside. So whenever we reach our destination zones early in the day, we want to be ready for the reversal. We get up to that destination sell zone, we get a little flag, one more retest of this 1, 2, 3, 4, we'll just call it a double top up here, right? And once we start to reject and give out these lows, it's signs for back down to the midline, to that open range sell zone, and to the open level. So you just play each of these levels as support and resistance, and as you get used to the system, you'll get used to the fact that some of these levels are more designated as buy levels and sell levels. So we use this on our charts every day, on our equity charts, our options charts. It works on futures charts. It even works on things like VIX, ADD, you name it. I've tried to think of just about everything. Here it is over on VIX. Quick drop down to the previous day's open when the market popped. Oh, sorry, we're looking at Friday. Yeah, okay. So a quick drop down. And then when that drop started over here, this first big drop, that's where VIX bounced at the previous day's open, came back up to today's open. And it did that a couple of times in that oscillation. So you're able to line up across VIX, your equity, your options charts, just to give you confluence and understanding on how the market is moving. So we've gone through how to join our service, how to load the tool into Thinkorswim, and then how to get it onto your chart. One last tip, once you get the tool loaded on your chart, you can come in and save that style. So if you come to Save Style, knowing that you have your indicator loaded, you can save this as a style, name it whatever you want, Beast, and hit Include Patterns and Study Set, and then click Save. Once you do that, any chart that you load up, you can load in the same settings. So on another chart, if you add another chart, it will be blank, right? And when you type in a ticker and then go to Style, come on, load Style and load that beast, it'll show up with the exact same settings. One little point that I should make, sometimes when folks load this study into their chart, it will end up looking like this, where it scrunches your chart way up so you can't see anything. There's a simple way to fix that. You just need to go to your chart settings. It's this little cogwheel up here, or Control S on your keyboard. If you go to Settings and go to your Price Axis tab, you want to make sure this is set to auto. Sometimes it's set to manual. Make sure that's set to auto. That will allow you to see all of these check boxes. And you want to make sure that this Fit Studies box is not checked in. As long as you do that, your chart should look just like mine instead of very scrunched. So once you get your study loaded in and once you have your chart settings just the way you like it, one more little tip I'll give you on chart settings: if you're working on an options chart to get the settings right, come over to options and turn off theoretical price. Nobody wants that, nobody needs it. If you uncheck it on the settings on an option chart, you'll never see that thing again. So I always like to say, once you get the study loaded in and you get those settings just right, come into Settings, Price Axis, Fit Studies, not checked in, Options, Show Theoretical, not checked in, hit OK. you're ready. You loaded the Beast tool, you have your settings just right, save that style, and then anytime you pull up the next chart, you just hit load that style and you are good to go. So, I believe we've covered at least overall orientation on how to get into the server, how to get signed up, how to get the Beast tool loaded onto your charts, how to get the settings just right, save it up, and your charts will look just like ours, so that when we say, oh, the 412 call fell down to Beast and it's basing, that's a signal to you that, oh, we're in a buy level, it's holding, so I can take a shot here. At 35 cents, it quickly pops up to 60 cents, where you can lock profit. That's just how the system works day in, day out. We are waiting for things to get to our buy levels, and we're taking a shot. And every day I will have a put and a call up next to each other as we start the day. So for instance, these calls opened way above their Beast. The puts opened not too far from their Beast. In fact, if I can just go over like one candle or two, we'll get rid of those labels. There we go. So the calls open way above their buy zones. They can't get through their open level. This is not bullish for this. This is an indication we're going to drop if we can't get back above open. Meanwhile, the puts are holding their open level. So the first shot is puts up to the sell zone, right? That allows our calls to get down to the buy zone. And we basically just play back and forth off these levels on calls and puts. This is how I'm able to call out doubles, triples, pretty much daily on SPY and QQQ. So, if you've been struggling with SPY or QQQ or trading options, definitely worth coming in and checking out our system. Real quick, I'm going to try to jump over to our live stream just to see if we have any questions in here. So I'll just wait a few seconds to see if there's any questions. Yes, we do have an app. That's a great question. Thank you. So, long story short, I did develop an app for us to be able to see the Beast level, the Beast numbers, the buy zones for each option in more of a table view. So I did launch that as an app, which was great functionally, but it did have one big drawback, that it was not live. So you had to hit refresh constantly. So I decided to remake that same function of what the app was doing in a Google Sheet. And so now when you join, you can get access to a Google Sheet that will show you where the buy levels are on any options. So here's a quick look at a quick view of what that looks like. So for instance, we'll just look at, looks like this was from a couple of days ago. But we can basically say that, like, at this point in time, whenever I turned off the updating, these calls were kind of closer to Beast. These puts were kind of closer to their Beast. And these other options are in the money. So we can use this on a live view every day. Let's say the market starts to dip a little bit. These calls will start to lose value and get closer to their buy zones. These shaded, this highlighting will slowly creep over to say, hey, we're in a buy zone. And then if we start to bounce on the market, whatever's in a buy zone over here will start to creep up through these take profit levels. So our app is basically now a Google Sheet that gives you a table view so you can plan out your trades. Let's say you're like, I want to play the 416 calls for today. And so I am going to watch for a buy zone around whatever it is. In this instance, it was 10 or 15 cents. Every day it's going to be different for each strike. So you can plan out the trade a little bit to say, hey, when I want to trade that 416, I'll wait till it gets to 15 cents. They aren't always this different to where it's, a quarter of the price. So don't worry about the actual numbers in here at the moment because this is just like a snapshot. But this can help you throughout the day. Let's say you just arrive at your computer and it's midday. You can take a quick glance to say what calls, what puts are nearby levels that I need to start watching. Or if we have a big drop and the market's starting to base, you can come over here and say, oh, these calls that used to be in the money are now at buy levels. So this is kind of what our app looks like. That was a great question. Thank you for asking. Yesterday, I mentioned that I usually see 2 contracts of puts and calls. How do you set that up on my screen? Oh, okay, great. We can go through that. So, depending on whether you're on charts or flex grid, you can set up your grid in a number of different ways. So, I'm on flex grid. I guess I'll just do this real quick for everybody. You can come to charts. You'll notice this is a bunch of charts, but you can get down to, say, one chart, like this. And then, let's say you want to watch a number of things. So you can go to a, basically what I like to suggest to folks as they're starting is something like this that is a 2-row by 3-column grid. And I just did that by coming to this box and dragging from one to that kind of a grid. That allows you to set these all up. And if you're going to walk through this, here, just for fun, let's go ahead and strip this down and get rid of all my tools. We can load our beast in. Give that a second. There we go. You can load in anything else you want, VWAP. Where's my VWAP? I'll load this in. Hit OK. Then I'll come in here, do my chart settings again, just so that everyone can see how you do that. Make sure Fit Studies is not checked in. Make sure Options Theoretical Price is not checked in. There we go. We're all set up and ready. Oh, let me change this to SPY. You'll notice on ES, nothing's showing up. That's because the silver tool doesn't work on ES. The silver tool just has SPY, QQQ, IWM, Apple, and AMD lately. I did add in chips just for fun. So when I typed in SPY, that whole study set came up. So I just loaded my study, got all my settings right. I'm going to save that style. But another cool trick is you can also set it as the default. So for this purpose, I'm going to go ahead and hit Set Chart Default. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. Thank you for asking. So now, this 1-minute chart with the settings the way I set them, and our studies, our beast study loaded up. Now, whenever I type a ticker over here, it's going to load exactly the same. IWM. That's not the right one. QQQ. Already did QQQ. Apple. AMD. See, look at how easy this is, folks. Now, let's say you want to set up your options. So I can have QQQ and let's say SPY in the middle. And then I'll do SPY options. I'll say dot SPY 230421 call 412. Hopefully everybody paid attention there. I'll do it again. We should all learn how to type out the syntax of an options chart since we're options traders. And we are now charting options now that you've joined our service. So again, it is period, ticker, SPY, expiration date 230421. Call or put. I'll take a call. Thank you. And we'll go for 11 this time on the call. We'll hit enter. Now we'll do puts. Dot SPY 230421. P for put 411. SPY dot SPY 230421 put 410. So there you go. That's how within a few seconds you can be all set up. Oh, wait a minute. Why is theoretical price showing up? You're not supposed to be there. Control S to pull up settings, options, theoretical price. Get out of here. Okie doke. So now we're all set up. We have our puts over here, calls over here. We can watch SPY. You can load ES, MES, whatever, and you'll be ready to go. That was a great question. Thank you for asking. Where do you get the app for the Google Sheet? I'll go through. We had a number of new folks join in the last week or so, so I do need to get the invites out for everybody to that Google Sheet. So since I have some downtime this weekend, I'm at a volleyball tournament. I'll go through all the folks that just joined and make sure everybody gets an invite to that Google Sheet. It's currently set up for SPY because we're just kind of finalizing to make sure we like the way that it looks. Functionally, it's working for everybody. And then it's no problem at all to turn it so that you will have a Google Sheet for each ticker if that's what you want to trade, that kind of thing. I might even be able to set up where like one sheet is all silver tickers on different pages. But yeah, I'll definitely get those out for everybody. Oh, okay, great question. When we're on voice, where are we? So right now, Bev is in PT Traders. Normally Monday through Wednesday and Friday, we are usually in PT Traders with our paid members. Every Thursday, we like to drop into the main section so that the folks that aren't signed up yet can get a preview of what it's like to be with us. So on Thursdays only, we will be in the general voice chat. Now I say Thursdays only. There are other days we're in there, and that's just me saying, hey, we'll have another free day today, right? So if you're a paid member, we will be in the live trading room in the PT Traders voice chat. And then these other voice channels are just available for members. Let's say I'm not around at the moment and you want to talk with another member. You can come into the options room and you guys can talk about options verbally. In the PT Traders room, we try to keep everyone muted. But if you'd like to talk, we can turn it unmute you so that you can join in with our traders. But we try to keep everyone muted in there so that our traders are the main voice you're listening to. Same with the futures members. If you're trading early hours or overnight on futures and you want to chat with anyone else doing the same, you can go in there. So that's kind of the purpose of those. And then Thursdays we're in the main chat and the general VC. So good question there. Let me just see if we have any questions on YouTube. Is there a difference between a silver beast tool and the higher tier beast tool? Yes, great question. Silver, let me go over to our subscribe and upgrade. So silver will include for the beast tool SPY, QQQ, and IWM. Now I've added because I'm a generous guy. Apple and AMD in there as well. I've also added MES so that, yes, on the silver, you can trade both. Well, you can trade futures on MES. You can trade SPY QQQ, IWM, Apple, and AMD commons on the stock, and you can trade the options for each of those tickers as well. Going on to gold, you're going to get SPY QQQ, IWM, and then you're going to get basically all of FANG, or what is now MANG, Microsoft, Meta, Apple, Amazon, NVIDIA, Netflix, Google, Tesla, SPX. You will also get all of the futures products as well. We have, I can just come over here in my list and show you. Nope, not this one. This one, here we go. We have ES, we have 6E, we have GC, MES, NQ, Ruddy, Silver, YM. And if you're in gold or diamond, we can even add tickers. Let's say there's a futures product like, soy, I don't know, that you're not seeing here that you want to trade. We can add that in at any point if you request it. So gold will have basically all your big tech tickers, your SPYs, QQQ, IWM, and SPX, and then all of the futures. And then diamond is just all tickers, any ticker that you want. There are a number of tickers that I don't include in gold that are outside of the tech sector. So let's say you trade BA or CAT or Goldman Sachs or JPM, any of those, or any tickers beyond that you want, Etsy, whatever. The system works on everything. So we can add in tickers there, and there are perks in Diamond, like you can get 50% off all of the tools that I sell and any of the classes that are available. So that's a quick little overview of the difference between the tiers. Great question there. Let's see if there's any more questions on YouTube. No. Let's go back over to our main chat. The 2 contracts, I just showed how to do that. The invites for the apps are coming. I'm in Europe and TOS is not available here. I'm using TWS of Interactive Broker. So, for folks outside of the US, normally TOS is not available, but there are a couple of services that exist out there where you can have a TOS account for a small fee, mainly for data. You can't necessarily execute unless you have a bank account, I believe, in the US or maybe Canada. I don't remember specifically. But there are workarounds to where if you're outside of the US, you can pay a company some small, I can't remember the exact fee. I think it might have been like $50 a month to access TOS for the desktop application for data. I don't have the link or anything, but maybe I'll drop it in a comment on this video later in the server. So we got you covered there, Zach T. Because I have had customers like from Israel, and I've had customers in Thailand, a few different places. So there are workarounds. All right, folks, come on. Any more questions? Feel free to ask because I'll wrap this up if we run out of questions. And yeah, Linda, I think I answered your question. Where are we when we're usually calling things out? I can say specifically on Friday, we were in the general voice chat, and I was on voice for the first hour or so. That's why I wasn't maybe doing that many heavy text alerts. But then after I got off voice, I switched back to those TTS, text-to-speech alerts so that it was both talking them and typing them out. Neutrino, you bring up a great point about the alerts and the arrows and whatnot. I think I'm just going to be turning those off from from this point forward. because it really just raises more questions than it's needed. And I feel like it's a small subset of members that actually enjoy those alerts. I can say, since they are based on price levels and not any kind of strategy around them, we do hear a lot of alerts throughout the day. So, do I have another screen with my option chain and active trader? So I have done that in the past. What Augusto is talking about here. If you come into your chart, you can have active trader here so that you can execute quicker on your trades. I've made tutorials on active trader and how to build OCO orders, so you can check those videos out. But yes, I have had, excuse me, instances in the past where instead of scrunching my chart up to have an active trader like this, you could add another row down here. So I'm going to add another row. I'm just going to type in SPY real quick. Let me maximize this for a second. Come on, TOS, keep up with me. I move fast. There we go. So on this TOS screen, on this chart, I'm going to turn on active trader and I'm going to turn off the chart. And then if I back out of this, now what would occupy a chart space is just active trader, and I can take this option and copy and paste it here, and now I can have my active trader right below my chart for that option. I've done it like this in the past where I have a cell with an active trader right next to the option I'm watching, and I can execute that way. I would say nowadays I'm totally fine and up, kind of up to speed with hitting active trader, having it pop up. You can get in here and remove some stuff from active trader that you don't need when you're options trading. This is worthless, so I get rid of that. And if you make these adjustments real quick like I did to get rid of some buttons and whatnot on active trader, and make it so you can see the price. There. Now, if I zoom in, I can see my chart, I can see my active trader, and it's taken up the same amount of space. Do I have any other screens? So no, I usually am operating, so let me at least say, I have 3 screens on my desk, and I have had it where I have charts on every single screen on every square inch. I don't do that anymore necessarily. I do spread them out a little bit, but some little tips and tricks when it comes to having a second screen. You can pop out this set of charts. You can, it's over here actually. You can detach this set of charts and it will open another window that looks just like this that you can pull onto another screen, right? The problem is TOS was built to only access one thread of your core at a time per instance of TOS. So when you start popping out windows like this and putting them all over the place, you're really stressing what TOS is trying to do. It's actually better, instead of doing a pop out, to just open another instance of TOS. So, if you're on PC, you just click on this again and it'll open another login. You log into the same account. You can be on multiple instances of TOS on your desktop, logged into the same account, and that's no problem. So I recommend doing multiple instances if you're going to spread across multiple screens. Another nice tip is you have charts and flex grid, and if you set these up in multiple different grids, you can switch back and forth really fast. So you don't necessarily need a second screen if you're doing this. And also, if you hold the Alt button, Alt 1 gets you to charts, Alt 2 gets you to flex grid. So you can actually get pretty quick with your hotkeys switching back and forth between like that. So there's some tips and tricks, and hopefully that answers your question. How to trade just with your options charts. So there's multiple ways to trade with an options chart. I'll come back over here. Let's just maximize this chart real quick. So, and this chart's kind of boring. Let's go rid of this one. There we go. So let's say you want to get the retest of this open, right? You can come in here and right-click right on that level and hit buy, like this. It won't let me because, you know, this isn't being traded anymore. But you can right-click here, hit buy. It'll issue a buy order at that price, a limit order, right? So you can trade directly on the chart. And, you know, even if it's sitting up here and you say, I want to buy it at its open, you can place that order there, and whenever price comes down to hit, your order will fill. And then you can place sell orders. Once you have bought, you can place sell orders up here. You don't want to go throwing sell orders out on an option chart unless you're already in the option. But you can put your sell orders up at our key levels to sell. And then when it drops again, you can set your buy orders. So you can trade just by right-clicking and hitting this buy and sell. You can also trade by hitting this trade button. It will pull up buttons at the top of your chart. So when it gets to that point, you could just mark it in, and when it's taken off and up here, you can just mark it out. You can also set up custom orders like the OCO, but I have a whole video that explains how to do that, so I'm not going to dig into that. Let's say you market it in and it's starting to take off and you want to issue a trailing stop, right? You can come in here and hit trailing stop and trailing stop limit. Usually it gives you settings there. Yeah, anyway. Whoop. Point being, you can trade off of buttons at the top of your screen with trade. You can come into Active Trader, which gives you a lot more information. Where you can actually see the orders out there and the volume associated with it. So when we got down near this key buy level, which was 40 cents, there's going to be a bunch of buy orders and volume. There's going to be a bunch of sell orders and volume. So this gives you kind of like a market profile in a way that is live around the current price of options. You can trade in Active Trader with buttons or by clicking right in these boxes. So if you want to order at 40 cents, click right there on the buy at 40 cents and it'll buy. Or if you're ready to sell, click the sell. So that's 3 different ways to trade. You can do it right on the chart by right-clicking and getting your menu. You can do it with trade buttons. You can do it with Active Trader. Oh, let's see. There's even a 4th way where you can take this option, copy it, come into one of your watch lists, paste it. You can build out all the watch list of all the options you want to trade that day and keep an eye on them. And you can come in and hit, you need the bid and the ask, so let me just add those in real quick. Bid and ask. There. Another way, if you want to buy, is click the ask and it will pull up a buy order. If you want to sell, hit the bid. It will pull up a sell order and you can kick that off. So there's 4 ways to trade. You can trade from a watch list. You can trade from the chart. You can trade from buttons. You can trade from Active Trader. There we go. Right, I guess so. Yeah, that's why I am so fast. Trading and sending messages. I know where all these buttons are. I know how to get to everything I need to do really quickly. There's plenty of times where I'm just right-clicking and throwing buys out there, and there's other times where I'm on Active Trader and I'm, pulling up one of my saved OCO orders with brackets, where I'm going to enter at that B zone, and then I've got take profits at 100, 200, 300% with a trail stop, yada yada. I have templates that I've saved. If you're interested in this, I have a whole video around that in the Beast Recap channel a video about how to set up OCO orders, a bracketed order, so that when I buy, I have my stops and my take profits all ready to go, and that trade will manage itself. Will this work in Active Trader Pro for Fidelity? I don't use Fidelity, or I mean, I'm sure its Active Trader is very similar. I would say this system that plots all these key levels on your options charts, this only works in Thinkorswim. So our system that we provide in this subscription only works in Thinkorswim. All right, last call for any last questions. I'll do one last check on YouTube. Have you ever tried algo trading using my method? We're pretty close, I'll just say that. I always fine-tune, and yes, I can say that we are pretty darn close. And if there's any folks out there with experience in that realm, we could talk about that if you'd like. But, all right, folks, I think I'm going to wrap this up. This is almost an hour long, and I didn't really want to go too much further than that, just for attention spans and whatnot, right? Nowadays, you got to try and keep people watching this. I'm sure all the tips that I covered, I'll get questions on Monday, and I'll say, did you watch the video? Oh, yeah, I watched the video. Yeah. All right, glad to have the webinar. I'm glad it helped folks. I'll wait to see if Augusto has any more questions. Looks like we took care of all the questions on YouTube. Hey, no problem. I'm glad I was able to help. Thanks for tuning in. Let's just see. What are the time frames I set on my SPY charts when trading? Another great question. A little outside of the orientation topic of this video, but I'll answer this as the last question. So when I'm trading, when I'm live trading on options and whatnot, I'm pretty much always on a 1 minute time frame. A lot of the studies that I build, I pulled down higher time frames, like a 3 minute, 5 minute moving average, a 30-minute squeeze, that kind of stuff. I pull that down to my 1 minute chart. So you can see I have a style set up here, which takes a second to load, but once it does, it will be my go-to ready for battle study set. I'll be on a 1 minute chart. I'll have my VWAP, my Beast tool. I'll have a 1 hour squeeze, so I can see where that is. We tend to have 1 hour squeezes most days, unless we're trending. So I'll also have daily moving averages. That's what this blue and orange line are up here. Daily Keltners, which I don't think we have any nearby. And then, you know, for the most part, I'm on a 1 minute chart. There are plenty of times on options where, let me see if we can get back to that 411 put. There we go. There are times on options where when I want to get this entry nailed on this big drop, I'll be on a 1 minute chart and I'll get in. And once I see these big pops and whatnot, well, this one happened in 2 candles, so I would have been like all my sell orders getting filled in 2 candles. But either way, actually, a better would be the 412 call, or even the 411 call from midday. So, you know, let's say 411 call midday, you get in around 80 cents, 75 cents, and it keeps going, but coming back. You know, at this point, when it starts getting so choppy, oh, and we're on a 5 minute, so let me go down to a 1 minute real quick. Let me get rid of this active trader. Here we go. So let's say you get in around 75, 80 cents, and it's getting up here and falling back, and getting up here and falling back, and whatnot. When it's doing that, and it's not violating my entry or my stop, then I'll just switch up to a 3 minute and watch like the 3 minute trend. Or let's say it's a day where we're just trending all day. I don't need to watch the 1 minute necessarily. So I'll get 1 minute on my entries and whatnot, and then as the trade is working and time is ticking, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be a longer trade, I'll just switch up to a 3 minute. It gives you a little bit better view. Sometimes those 1 minute wicks give you a reason where you're like, oh no, we're going down, so I'm getting rid of it. When really, if you look at a 3 minute, it's like, I should be buying that every time it hits 85 cents. And just milking it until the move happens, right? So, yep, usually 1 minute, 3 minute on my charts that I'm going to act upon. And then over here I'll have higher time frames, like a 15 minute. I usually have a daily down at the bottom so that I can take quick glances at higher time frames on any ticker over here while I'm executing mainly on 1 minute, 3 minute charts. You could say, well, do you do a 5 minute? I mean, sure, feel free. Everyone should be comfortable in what they're doing. I like 1 minute, I like 3 minutes. 3 minutes give you a little bit more granularity than 5 minutes. And 3 minutes, breaks down into other higher time frames like 15, 30, yada, yada, yada. So that's it, folks. Hopefully everybody had a good time. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you're new to Predicted Trades, come check us out. Join our Discord. There should have been a link in the description of this YouTube video, but there isn't. I'll add that after the fact. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great weekend, and we'll see everybody in the chat on Monday.